What is going on, everyone? My name is JX, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have the event quest dialogue for Grudge match with with Titania and Infamous Iron Man joining the game. This is pretty exciting. It's kind of a fun event. A few Easter eggs to the past of the contest, which I really always appreciate. It's not a super lore thing, kind of teasing the future. I mean, a few of the characters that show up might be later down the road, but for the most part, this is kind of like a fun event. With a few Easter eggs and references. I don't know. It's gonna be a quick event, but it was still pretty fun. It's a lot of parallels to kind of like last month how we have Infamous Iron Man joining the game. Obviously, he was Doom and he was a villain. And we had Gallon join the game, who is a hero version of Galactus. So they're kind of the same concept of them being not really amending for their past because Gallon actually never became Galactus, but kind of amending to what they're known for, which is really cool, and I always appreciate it. Now, obviously, I totally called Titania, dude. I literally said last year. Also, I've been saying Titania wrong. I've been saying Titania. I was saying Titania all last year and beginning of this year. I never realized it was Titania. Like I always thought that was so weird because I always thought Titanium, which is another Marvel character, and then Titania because I was like I can't say Titania and Titanium. It just sounds too weird. And no, I've been saying it wrong this entire time. So, fun fact, I always, you always learn something new. Anyways, yeah, so I was like, when this event was announced, like, the Masters of Evil characters coming to the game and coming with someone who needs to go remorse for their past and kind of change their ways, I was like, okay, well, Titania, Masters of Evil. And obviously Doom, who needs to pay for his past because he's the one who created Titania. And I was like, Kabam would never do another Doom and another Iron Man. I was like, there's no way Infamous Iron Man's coming to the game. And boy, was I wrong. I was like, Absorbing Man, Titania, both Masters of Eve's characters, both are gone away from their past because they're part of Gamma Flight, and that would be a cool thing for the future of the contest. And I was like, no way, Infamous Iron Man, just no way. And I was dead wrong. Even though they did tease Absorbing Man today, but it was pretty funny. Like I was like, dude, they teased Absorbing Man twice. A couple years ago when MODOK came to the game, and now with Titania. But man, I want him in the game, dude. Like we were talking about it with Legacy on the podcast, and we were like, dude, he could be so cool. Like absorbing the different materials like Uru metal, or copper, or whatever other metals like the Vulture, the Chitauri metal. Like it's so cool. You could do so many stuff, but. Maybe in another time. Anyways, this event is really cool because we have also Titania is a wrestler and the champion is a part of this event quest and kind of teaching Titania. It's kind of cool. And obviously the champion is so cool because he's an elder of the universe and it's tied to the contest because the contest was founded by elders. And not the original contest, but our contest right now is kind of founded by the collector, and then he found it with his brother and his daughter, obviously Karina, and then the champion kind of showed up later. And the Champion's first appearance was in the Thing comic, the Marvel 2-in-1 annual, where he fought Thing and Champion fought, and Champions was the first appearance, and it was so cool. I literally have it on my wall, but I can't get it because I'm too short, but it's really cool. And obviously Titania was made by Doom. I was like, this is why Titania is coming, because Doom is kind of regretting his past because he's part of Kratos' council now. He's trying to fight Galactus. There's no way we'd have a different Doom because it would mess things up. And like I said, I was so wrong. And funny, on the bottom is actually the Watcher and the Champion, so it's actually kind of cool. Like a lot of references to the 2004, I think, She-Hulk comic, which is interesting. Anyways, we started off like normal, like, hey, appreciate you showing up, Summoner. We see that Titania is kind of like, hey, I need a rematch with She-Hulk. She's going around, and She-Hulk's like, I need some help this time. And she's like, here's my good friend Victor Von Doom, and he's like, Iron Man preferably. And he's like, don't worry, he's made some changes. She also says, but he does need to get familiar with the Battle Realm, so we're bringing him on a tour. This is interesting because this actually tells us this is not Doom from the 2019, from when he first came to the game, who became part of Kratos' council and is working with Reed to stop the Galactus variant threat. This is a new Doom, so now we have two Dooms. I was kind of curious if they would do this because when Iron Man Infinity War in the game came to the game, he actually kind of replaced classic Iron Man. It kind of went on like this was the same Iron Man, just a new suit. He was like, I upgraded my tech to fight Thanos. That's kind of what it was like. It wasn't like, oh, here's a new Iron Man to help us out, and same with Cap. It wasn't like, here's a new Cap to help us out, even though both of the classic versions showed up later as different variants. So it was like, is Doom just gonna wear the Infamous Iron Man outfit now, story wise? But obviously, clearly, we'll have two different champions. But no, these are two different characters. So I like that Kabam off the back tell us. Obviously I just said Doom actually created Titania, and here he says I must stress Titania's strength was by my doing. So he's kind of apologizing. And he also doubts us like every time, man. Every freaking event, it's always one person, one champion, be like, oh, the summoner can't do anything, just a human. Like, come on, bro. We are like the most powerful being here, right? We kick everyone's asses. Like I don't want none of this disrespect. Anyways, we find interesting the vulture salvaging some tech, which is very interesting. I don't know if this is a tease for the future, but obviously this is a reference to Homecoming because he was obviously had the salvage operation of the Shatari tech, and that's what his suit is. I'm sure you guys remember the the Morbius post credit scene. Anyways, yes, it's the one champion. The only champion here is a tutor of the once again student Titania, Titanic Titania. Such an interesting name, which sounds like a wrestling name, right? Because it is. So do you want me to involve Karina in this? So, kind of a reference to Act 6. Obviously, she kind of dealt with him, as well. He was kind of against her because him and the Grey Master were kind of against Karina's reign, and we kind of figured it out, and he kind of just left. But first, she can fall with him with the reprimand. Infamous Iron Man just blasted him a bunch of energy. Like, we're having a conversation here, and he just blast. Like, we were trying to get information, man, and he just comes over here, shoots him, like, and Shilk's not having it. She's like, dude, you're a hero. This is no pull the trigger first, get information later. It's get information first, talk the situation down, make sure no one gets hurt. Like, just do what heroes should do. All right, and Strife shows up, another weird character to show up, and Strife is like, yeah, I've found this artifact. I'm tracking this artifact, and I need it because I'm gonna rule the mutants. They're gonna all follow me. You gamma thing, get out of here. Like, I don't know. Probably a tease for the future, man. I don't even. Just moving on. We're at a point where sometimes the event quest happens where we have to have 6 bosses, and sometimes the bosses are just kind of thrown in there. But the main thing is with Infamous Iron Man, She-Hulk, Titania, and obviously the champion. All right, if we permanently dealt with these, so this is kind of interesting, kind of a debate, like kind of that Punisher theory, or not Punisher theory, Punisher philosophy of killing your opponents, like permanently dealing with your enemies, killing them so they can no longer hurt other people, kill other people, etc. It's kind of dark for a second there. Um, it's kind of like a thing in the Infamous Iron Man comics where he obviously kind of keeps some of his philosophies as Victor Von Doom as Doom. He keeps that philosophies of like kind of doing things the hard way, more or harsh way is what I'm trying to say. Kind of like that Joker, like if Joker should be put down so he can never kill another person, kind of thing from the DC universe. It is quite interesting. I don't think Marvel and MCOC and Kabam would kind of go there, but she'll kind of like grounds him. She's like, Tony would never do this. You can't call yourself Iron Man if you're not going to put out the same type of justice. It's really cool. And then Gladiator Hulk just kind of posed, and he's like, yeah, I'm here to be the best champion. I'm not here to stop them. I'm here to become the best champion. Then we actually find the champion, but your opportunity won't present yourself yet. So he's kind of saying, you want a rematch with me? Obviously Act 6.2, right? Really cool. Now this is really cool, so I'm gonna hide this comics real quick. But here it is. The champion has given his beloved student a trinket to aid in her triumph, the Power Stone. This is so cool. This is straight from the comics. Literally, look at the screen. Oh my god, here I have something for you, Titania. The infinite power of the Power Stone, dude. And she fights She-Hulk in this comic. Like, it's so cool because it's literally from the comics. Like, I love when Kabam totally go to the source material and find these things. Like, we found it with like the World Heart with last month's events. I was talking to the Kabam people, one of the writers, and it was so cool because he was like, dude, I had this comic, and I was like, I have to incorporate it into the event quest. And I'm like, dude, that is so cool because you helped this. Like, it's so cool to look at comics because some of the event quests are really cool, and you wouldn't really understand it or get that reference unless you actually looked at comics. And it's so cool, even if you have read it, it's a cool, like, oh man, like I remember that. Like, it's so cool. Now obviously this is kind of interesting. So he says, and once she finds part of the battle realm that it resonates with, sparks will fly. This is a huge thing because regular ISO 8 Infinity Stones or ISO 8 Infinity Stones do not need a certain part of the battle realm. If you don't know how the comics work, Infinity Stones cannot work outside their own universe, but the battle realm technically isn't a universe. It's a whole amalgamations of different parts of multiverses and universes and realms and everything. And the ISO 8 Infinity Stones are made out of ISO 8, isometric 8, like the substance of the dead universes, and that's why they work. That's what Thanos collected from the Nameless, and they're obviously made from the Death Stone, and that's even what's in the Thanos statue is he has them all. Like it's pretty cool, and we were kind of curious like how is the Power Stone going to work, because that's a regular Infinity Stone, and we found out in Act 6 that it's because it's in the part of the battle realm that it actually resonates with its home universe. So that's super cool, because in the comics that's exactly how it works. You can't bring your Infinity Stone outside your own universe and it work. Now if you notice in this image over here with Titania, she has the Infinity Stone in her forehead, just like the Champion did in the comics, in Act 6. So I find that so cool. Like it's really cool. Now he also says he may have overloaded it last time, so obviously he was like overloading it when we fought him in Act 6. That's why some people struggle so much. Not MSD. Alright, you Blue Oaf, do you have any idea what you've done? The Power Stone isn't a trinket, even if it doesn't work properly in the battle realm. Just kind of saying what I'm saying before. And that's good because the Champion is done toying around. Yeah, he's like, let's get serious. Alright, so you maybe before the Grandmaster stage, obviously X6, Grandmaster made him fight us. May have top of my Champions Clash, obviously the Champions Clash, if you remember that. Alright, the Summoner truly matched for tough for what's that Warnham Shrimp? What's his name again? Aegon. Or Egon is what he says. That's pretty funny. Obviously him and Aegon came the same month back in 2018. Which was such a cool event. Aegon's my favorite character, by the way. I don't know if you know this, at least in the contest. My favorite character in Marvel's Legion, and my second favorite character is Aegon. And it's always cool to do it. And obviously, Aegon is so tied to Karina because Aegon basically revived Karina. You know, we found all her fractured pieces, and we were like, well, what do we do now? And Aegon was like, here, let me use my infinity, like my the first iso spear I ever made, and use it to heal Karina, and they've been connected ever since. So it's really cool. All right, now I've got to lead. Okay, I guess I've got to beat on Titania, or I wonder if that's a typo. It's supposed to be a lead. I don't know. The Power Stone is easier to track than I thought, which we've actually kind of seen before. I mean, it gives off a certain. I mean, it kind of makes sense that it'd be pretty easy to track. Alright, so Strange let someone as reckless as her receive the full strength of Infinity Stone. I do agree. Infinity Stones are super powerful, and especially the Power Stone. Arguably, I mean, pretty much the most powerful one in the Reality and the Power Stone are pretty powerful in the MCU, so it's kind of cool that if you haven't read the comics, you can kind of base it off the MCU a bit. Alright, she will likely survive, give Titania her powers, remember, I have a full understanding. So he's like, I just want to bomb her. Like, he was like, dude, he wants to, like, kind of the same thing before. Like, he just wants to, like, what the hell, man? So, and because she all kind of grounded him again, like, this is not what Iron Man would do. You can't call yourself Iron Man if you're going to do that. Anyways, we find Titania, and she's like, I was wondering when you'd finally make it, and you brought your coach too. Good. I want him to see what his training has led to. And it's funny, is like, the champion goes, I'm so proud. Looks like a fight is going to be our only option. We battled plenty before, but this will be no different. Obviously, it's super from the comics, because, their rivalry is even lasting from the comics all the way to the MCU. It's pretty cool. That's probably require the Power Stone. This is cool. So now, if Iron Man's kind of learned from his mistakes, he's like, okay, well, let's not, bombard her with missiles and whatnot. Let's talk her down and actually play against her. I love it when heroes do this. They know their enemy so well that they play against them, and just like this, he kind of puts her ego in check, where he's like, you need the Power Stone to defeat Shield? Come on. And she's like, what? I don't need the Power Stone. And she throws the Power Stone angrily, and it actually goes to the champion, which is kind of interesting. And she's like, I'll pounce you without it. And yeah, there you go. I'm proud of you. The champion apologized. So this is cool too. It's like the event quest always ends after the final fight, which is, I love it. It gives us a little bit more information and helps us get a better story ending. And he's like, I'm proud of you. And she's like, thanks, coach. Maybe we just need to go back to the basics: protein powder, weightlifting, and unsanctioned street fights. Classic Marvel, right? Anyways, Karina shows up. She's like, Uncle Draco, what is all this? I've heard you've been stumbling all over the battle realm like a toddler. What do you think you're doing? And then, with the help of the champion, he scoops up the Power Stone, and he and Titania bounce off into the battle realm, fleeing from Karina's wrath. And that's where the event ends. So it's a fun event. Lots of references to Act 6. Lots of references to the 2004 She-Hulk comic. Obviously Titania and the Champions Past. And obviously Infamous Iron Man's. Like, it's a really good event quest if you've read all these comics, or even if you just know these characters. And maybe it teases something with the Vulture and Strife. I mean, it was a little weird for them to show up, so I wonder if Kabam have that in mind. But anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. This was super fun to read, and hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out, and good night, everyone.